Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Katie Asko from Dublin, Ireland, and these are your latest headlines from around the world. A letter seeking help written by a group of Ukrainian women trapped in the port city of Mariupol was handed over to the Holy Father Pope Francis by Cardinal Michael Czerny, interim Prefect of the Dicastery, for promoting integral human development. In the two-page letter, the wives, mothers and daughters of the fighters of Mariupol sought the support and assistance of the Pope in evacuating wounded soldiers and civilians from the devastated city. The letter was handed over by a UATV channel reporter to the Cardinal. Ukrainian authorities have announced that they hope to evacuate some 6,000 civilians from the war-torn city. In his daily video address, Ukrainian Greek Catholic Archbishop Shevchuk said that the glorious Mariupol is heroically opposing the enemy, adding that the city calls on the conscience of Ukraine and the world to help open necessary humanitarian corridors to save the lives of innocents. He decried the fact that no such corridors have been opened for several days, saying that it is the task of all people in spiritual, diplomatic and civil circles to save the lives of people. His beatitude also blasted elected officials who make use of this war to betray their motherland, and compared them to Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. After a 2-year gap due to the pandemic, the Holy Father Pope Francis will preside over the Holy Mass on the Feast of Divine Mercy at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. For the 2 past years, the Pontiff has privately celebrated Holy Mass on the feast day at the Church of the Holy Spirit in Sassia. The Office of the Liturgical Celebration has informed that cardinals, archbishops and bishops who are in Rome, as well as the missionaries of mercy and other priests and religious, can attend this ceremony, which is scheduled to take place on April 24th. Recalling the Feast of Divine Mercy, the Holy Father addressed the Poles, saying, quote, "I am grateful to you for your mercy towards so many refugees from Ukraine who found open doors and generous hearts in Poland. May God reward you for your kindness." The second Sunday of Easter was instituted as Divine Mercy Sunday by St. Pope John Paul II on April 30th, 2000, the day of the canonization of Sister Faustina Kowalska, the Polish nun who received revelations about divine mercy from Jesus. Urging people to defend life from conception, hundreds of pro-life supporters gathered at the Missouri Capitol in the U.S. to advocate for stricter abortion laws and pro-life measures on Wednesday, April 20th. The march began on the South Capitol lawn and proceeded down to the governor's mansion before returning to the Capitol. Representatives from the Jefferson City Archdiocese and Missouri Baptist Convention addressed the gathering alongside Secretary of the State Jay Ashcroft. Currently, abortion is legal up to 22 weeks of pregnancy in the state, though in 2019 the state legislature passed a law banning abortion in almost all cases after 8 weeks of gestation. It never came into effect as it was blocked by the courts. However, if the U.S. Supreme Court overturns the Dobbs v. Jackson case, Missouri will be able to enact its pro-life law. In the U.S. state of Florida, the Department of Health has released fresh guidance regarding the treatment of gender dysphoria in children and teenagers. The department blamed the Biden administration for getting it all wrong when it comes to treating young people. The state's Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo slammed the administration for the way it has been approaching the issue, alleging that it is political. In a statement, Mr. Ladapo said, quote, "It was about injecting political ideology into the health of our children. Children experiencing gender dysphoria should be supported by family and seek counseling, not pushed into an irreversible decision before they reach 18. Although the evidence regarding puberty blockers and hormone therapy is inconclusive, it can have long-term irreversible effects," said the state, adding that such therapies should not be used on minors. The Supreme Court of the U.S. state of Idaho has permitted lawmakers to intervene in a controversial lawsuit. The case in question challenges the constitutionality of a law that was passed earlier this year to prohibit abortions after the 6th week of pregnancy. On Monday, the court ratified the request made by the House Speaker, Senate President, and the legislature to intervene in the case. The law was crafted after a similar law passed in Texas and was scheduled to come into effect on Friday. However, a court blocked it temporarily after a lawsuit was filed against it by Planned Parenthood. If enacted, the law will allow the father, grandparents, siblings, aunts, and uncles of an aborted unborn baby to sue for at least $20,000 within 4 years of the child's life being ended. As East Africa is suffering from drought, the worst in 4 decades, Catholic Church agencies are rushing to aid the affected populations. With no rain for the 4th consecutive year, crops have been decimated, water bodies have dried up, and livestock pastures are sparse. According to aid agencies, 16 million people spread across Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia are in urgent need of food supplies. While speaking to Catholic News Service, Kenyan Bishop Peter Kahara Kariuki said the situation is very bad. He said loss of crops and dying cattle are robbing people of their means of sustenance. According to one charity director in Somalia, stabilization centers are packed and 1.4 million children under 5 are suffering from severe lack of nourishment. Catholic charities are working to bring food, water, sanitation, and healthcare to the country. On Tuesday, April 19th, Egyptian public prosecutors sent the man accused of murdering a Coptic priest to trial on charges of murder and possession of a weapon. According to the Regional Mental Health Council of the Ministry of Health and Population, the individual was sane when he committed the act. The prosecution also added that the report found the defendant did not have any psychiatric disorder indicators at the time of the examination or at the time of the crime, rendering him criminally liable. Father Wadid, a Catholic priest based in Alexandria, was stabbed with a knife while walking on Friday, April 8th, in a crime that terrified the public. The trial has yet to be scheduled. If convicted, the suspect could receive the death penalty. Those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow and visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.